searching for a monster who's hard to find.
Welcome to Attic Raiders Retro Reviews, where today we're going into the swamps to hunt for monsters in another Halloween themed episode. Today we're going to be looking at the game Monster Crunch. Released here in the UK in 1987 by Parker Brothers, Monster Crunch is a game that board game fans in the US might know under a different title. This game was released by Parker Brothers at the same time in America under the name Monster Mash.
You're searching for a monster who's hard to find, but here's a hint, he's one of a kind.
Then you can mash.
Monster
It's Monster Mash. I got him.
It's a wacky smash. Be the very first to find the fiend and then give him a whack and start all over again.
I'll do the mash.
Monster
It's
Mash.
Monster Mash.
It's a wacky smash. Monster Mash. Wacky fun from Parker Brothers.
Now, I'm not quite sure why the name of the game was changed over here in the UK for its release, but I suspect it has something to do with UK copyright laws. Monster Mash is a very famous Halloween novelty song which was released by Bobby Boris Pickett in 1962. Now, while the US game can get away with being called Monster Mash, I suspect that there was something in law that meant that in the UK they had to change the name so that there was no confusion. Whatever the case, apart from the name change, the US version of this game is exactly the same, except that the Thwackers are cast in red plastic instead of blue. The US version also has different box artwork, and in fact the back of their box is in colour. Over here in the UK, we got colour front, but the back ended up being black and white. What we did get though is a poem. You're hunting a monster and have a good hunch, there's only one like it in this wacky bunch. To find one that's hiding, you've got a machine, just press its big button, one pops on the screen. Quick, find that monster lurking in the pack, capture it first with a great big thwack. When one is caught, start over again, crunch 5 in a row and win the game. Now, it starts off well with these first two verses, but the meter and rhyme on these last ones goes completely wonky. Again and game do not rhyme. They could have done that a bit better. It's a bit poor show, but I really like the first two verses. 7 years later, in 1994, Monster Mash was given a bit of an overhaul and re-released. This time the Thwackers were not blue or red, but were released in yellow plastic. The Monster Selector unit was also cast in a different colour of plastic, this time coming in red, but it's the exact same mould used to make it. In fact, it still has the same 1987 copyright information on the back of it. Not only were the plastic colours changed, but new artwork was done for the monsters, completely updated with far more detail. These guys look really great. They've really put some good effort into the design of these monsters, but they don't quite have the nostalgic charm of the original 80s versions. This is a really simple matching game for 2 to 4 players aged 5 to 11, and it only takes about 10 minutes to play, but it is good fun. Let's take a look. The game comes with 4 of these, what it calls thwackers, and they've just got the copyright information on here, and it's just basically a long rod with a suction cup on the end. Now, being from 1987, the rubber that this suction cup is made from has started to break down slightly, as you might get in some old toys, and that has meant that it's started going slightly sticky, but I've given it a good clean, but you still can't get rid of that slight stickiness because that's just the way it is when some of these plastics break down like this. But it helps, I suppose, with the sticking. The whole point of these is that these stick to the cards to pick them up, and if you're anything like kids back in the 1980s or early 90s, you'll be using these to try and smack them onto your forehead and see if you can get them to stick. Despite being over 30 years old, I've never seen any of these which have actually snapped, despite the fact that the whole point of them is that you are going to be slapping things with this, or the cards, and they are going to bend. But I've never seen any that have bent so far that they have snapped. Sometimes they will be missing, but I haven't seen any snapped ones. So this is a really, really nice design, and it's held up really well over time. And you can see that the design of this thwacker works really well, picks up the cards quite easily, so it's really nice. This is the main unit here, the monster selector, and it's a really nice piece of engineering, a nice bit of design. There are no batteries in this whatsoever. It is just one solid piece, and it's really sturdy. It doesn't need batteries, so instead it uses cogs and springs in order to make its selection. Up the top here we've got this button. We press down the button, and inside here it has got 3 tumblers in here, and there is a spring mechanism as well. So once that spring has been disconnected for a little while, it will then reconnect and put these into place once they have spun round a bit. So it's a nice, really, really random selection generator, and it really is quite random. Now you can see if I press it just a little bit, each one of these tumblers has got 3 sides to it. These are triangular prisms, these ones. So each one has got 3 different sets of monster eyes printed on there. There's 3 different sets of monster mouths on there, and there are 3 different sets of monster legs on here. You can see, there we go. So you can see there's 3 different sets of monster legs, 3 different sets of monster mouths, and 3 different sets of monster eyes. So because we've got 3 different parts and each part has got 3 different possible outcomes, that means that the number of possible permutations with repetitions is going to be 3 to the power of 3. So there are going to be 27 different monster combinations which are possible with this generator. As such, there are 27 different cards to go with this. So here we have all 27 of the cards that this game comes with, and this represents all of the 27 permutations that are possible with that monster selector. You can see I've laid them out here in a very ordered and logical manner, just so you can see how they all differ. These ones down here have all got the kind of jelly, purple, wobbly bases. These ones have obviously all got the yellow legs, and these ones have all got the blue legs down here. And then within that, we've got these ones over here have all got the same kind of mouth. These ones have all got the same kind of wide mouth that goes from ear to ear. And of course, these ones have all got the same with the teeth. And then, of course, you've got the eyes on stalks down here. We've got the green wobbly eyes down here. And we've got the kind of half shut, sly or dopey looking, can't quite decide what that expression is, eyes down there. So this is all the ones in a logical manner. Of course, this is not how you would actually play the game. There we go, that's looking far more random now, and that's how the game would be set up played. So we simply take the monster selector, one player has to press the button, and then the hunt is on to try to find this particular monster as fast as you can in order to thwack it. And it is that one there, unless I'm very much mistaken. There we go, found him in time. So this one here I would put in front of me wherever I am playing, and I'm going to end up with a row of monsters that let's say I've managed to get all of these. The point of the game is the first person to get 5 monsters in a row in front of them. However, it does get a little bit trickier, because even though those ones are down there in front of you where you are playing, other people, if your monster, one of the ones that you've already captured and is in front of you, if that comes up on the monster selector and somebody else manages to thwack it, Even though it's on the table in front of you, they can take that from you. So you've got to be quick and check your cards as well as the cards that are still freely available on the table, because you don't want people taking things that you've already got. If you manage to get all 5 cards without anybody stealing any of them, first player to 5 wins the game. I remember playing this game when I was a kid, so for me this has nostalgic value, in which case it's worth getting. If it's not one you came across when you're younger, it's maybe not one that you're going to want to add to your collection. But I like it. I was very lucky that I actually got this one in a charity shop very recently for £2.99, which is a great price. But normally if you want to buy this on the second-hand market on eBay, you're looking at about £15 to £20 for this game. It's just silly and fun, and with 4 players this can be really good when you're trying to race against each other and try not to get whacked by other people's thwackers. It's definitely one that I'm glad that I've got in my collection. Until next time, this is Attic Raiders Retro Reviews.